Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great. Hit a like button. I hear that's good for business. Maybe give a comment, even if you have to compare me to the main character of Despicable Me. I've heard it all before, dude. So, interesting revelation today from Miami Dolphins camp, and it had to do with Mike McDaniel and Tua. Now, if you guys know my take on this, there's a couple of topics I'm ready to put to bed, right? And one of them is all the Brian Flores stuff. Did mention it the other day because Stephen A. Smith made some erroneous points on his program, but I don't want to revisit it anymore too much unless, you know, it happens to come up in the context of the conversation. But I'm not searching for it anymore. I think it's done. I think it's buried until, you know, there's some more salacious things like the Brian Flores text get leak. I think that's dead. The other thing that I'm also tired of, though, on the flip side, is I'm a little tired of, hey, how awesome is Mike McDaniel and Tua's relationship? Aren't you guys the best of friends? And I'm like, all right, uncle, dude, I get it. They're the best of friends. I love their relationship, and I love in the context of the day, hey, isn't it great? They're awesome. But I get it. We have drained that well. You know, there is not a drop of water left. We have covered it. But I don't know who asked this question today. I wish I could give credit. I did not recognize the voice. But I actually thought this was a good Mike McDaniel to a question, because he was asking about Tua and how Mike McDaniel has seen him grow as a vocal leader. That's been a big theme, as everybody has said that Tua has grown as a vocal leader. And Mike McDaniel made an interesting point today about his quarterback, and he described Tua as having the it factor, and that Tua not only has the it factor, but that a locker room can tell when a quarterback has the it factor, and when the team knows who to really believe in. You can't fool the team. And, you know, some have said back in the day, like when Tua took the job from Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know, a lot of the grumbling vets thought he wasn't ready yet. Hell, Tua, you know, I talked about this in another video, but revealed that, yeah, we knew that he physically was bad, but he probably was physically more down bad than we really realized in that rookie season, coming back from that devastating hip injury. But him describing it as the it factor, I found to be pretty fascinating. And Tua, around this, not saying anything about Mike McDaniel, actually had an even more interesting response to it that kind of shows you the bravado that Tua has. But this was Mike McDaniel discussing Tua and how much the team believes in him.
There's certain guys that have an it factor with large groups of, especially teams. You know when a team believes in their quarterback, quite honestly, and you know, the appreciation for what his skills were, you know, I think we're strong, but nothing compared to the respect and regard that his teammates have for, like, not forced. Okay, this is, you know, my first rep at, you know, being a quarterback in the National Football League. I'm going to do this, and this, and finding himself as a person, like that's been front and center with the team. And so he's being him. And I think that's, you know, there's, I don't know the measurements, but there's ways to measure energy waves. And the strongest energy wave you can give off is authenticity. Write that down.
Damn. The strongest energy. Whoa. Whew. Wow. Whew. The strongest energy wave you can give off is authenticity. I love that, dude. That quite frankly, it's been a while. I got to be honest with you. Mike McDaniel just gave me the goosies. I really, like, I was like, oh, I like that. I like that quote a lot from Mike McDaniel. But it is an interesting thing. You know, Tua, while yes, he has had this revitalization of belief and talent and confidence and all that stuff is great. hey, man, this guy has been a top recruit, has been a star, has been the best at what he does most of his athletic life. He's been that dude, right? It's not like he's some journeyman or he's some out of nowhere story. He's a guy people wanted to tank for since he burst onto the scene, and we learned how to say his name incorrectly many times. And now he's at this point in his life, grown, paid, parent, belief, all that type of stuff. But he's stayed true to himself. It doesn't feel like as Mike McDaniel points out there, it's not this false bravado just because he's paid, and he is, at this point. Like, no, I think that he's just genuinely comfortable in his own skin, and I wonder what benefits that's going to reap, because especially one of the knocks on this team is, as Jordan Poyer put, you push on them a little bit, they will fold. If your quarterback has that it factor, you aren't going to fold in those situations. Now, look, I'd love to have more of those signature wins, those primetime wins, those primetime performances, especially against the great teams. But I've never thought the guy's mentally weak. I've never thought this is a guy who's like folding under the pressure. I think maybe, improvisation or trying to find things when they break down, and maybe that is the next step. Maybe this nimbleness that he's going to add is going to help in that regard, because he's always the guy that kind of almost wanted to extend plays to a fault where he did get hurt. But I've never thought the guy, there's no way you went through all you went through with the hip injury, with what he went through his first couple of years, even just from a performance standpoint. Forget even the coach and berating. And then to get to this, going through the concussions and getting back to this point and doing all the weird stuff like jujitsu and bulking up and now some of that. Like, the guy clearly works hard, but also that takes a mental fortitude. And Tua was asked today about Mike McDaniel's comments about having the it factor. And I think people thought this was lighthearted at first, a response, but then I think he was being dead ass, like when he was asked about having the it factor.
Mike kind of said he noticed an it factor in you, I guess, in regard to how the team responds to you when you speak up and when you're vocal. Mm-hmm. I'm curious for you, at what moment kind of did you realize that you had gained the respect of the team as a vocal leader?
Like the it factor? I've had the it factor. No, I've had the it factor since I was in high school, then going into college, and then coming here. That's how I've always viewed myself, as going out and competing. Yeah, very, very nice, very cool, calm, collective, but inside just very competitive. And so, a lot of the guys know how I am and whatnot, but I guess it's just only now showing that I'm becoming a little more vocal. So that's it.
There you go. So, that is it's a fascinating thing, but I do think it is a little bit of a different insight to, it's so nice that Tua's loved now. It's so nice that, Tua is respected and treated nice, and everybody's, isn't that nice? No, he's got that, it was almost like he's got that you to him, he's got that. He's got, people always say he's got that dog in him. He's got that element. I don't know, probably an overused term, but I don't know. It just was like, when have I had the it factor? Since forever? Since I've thrown a football, I've had that. And, sometimes, the guys get broken down and they don't see the other side of it. This is hopefully one of those stories where, the talent has always been there and he does see the other side. And that ending with, very hopefully a Lombardi trophy. I mean, that's the ultimate, storybook it factor ending. But as far as the way he's handling himself, yeah, I found all that. I found this was actually the most fascinating Tua personality thing I think I've heard all off season, really, because, he peacocked, he got his money, and that's an awesome story. And that's a great blessing for his family and good for him. And, glad that he got to strut a little on the people who were roadblocks into getting there. But as far as like, hey, just determination of how are you going to like mentally bring this Dolphins team, and especially, look, they're going to be looking to him because there's questions. We have questions about this team going into the first few weeks. I think reasonable questions, not doubts, questions about how they're going to get over some hurdles or how things are going to come together. And he is going to be, a big element in all that. And I think that the guy at his best level can do that. So yeah, I liked hearing this. He's shown it, but I think just flat out like putting it like that, like I've had that it factor. Gave me the goosies, dude. I'm not gonna lie.